hosted by 29-time best-selling author, award-winning coach and speaker Omar Periu. From Zero to Wealth teaches you how the pros go from zero to wealth, and they don't hold anything back. You, our audience, can chat with us real-time, ask questions, and learn from the best in the business. Create your free account, set up your profile on eZWay Network, and you're ready to connect. Now here's your host, Omar Periu. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hello and welcome to From Zero to Wealth. Omar Periu. My name is Omar Periu, and I want to welcome you. This is really a great day. I want to thank Eric. This is all about eZWay TV and all of you. So today my special guest is Andie Monet. And Andie, are you there?
I'm here. So excited to be here with you, Omar.
Hi, Andie. I've been reading about you. You're amazing. What your story. And I think it's important that a lot of people are empowered, especially women, by your story. And I'd like to hear a little bit about how you got started in this business. Well, tell me more about your life first.
Yeah, absolutely. I love telling this story because I think sometimes the common belief is that everything just works out great for entrepreneurs who are successful, and it really doesn't. And I never actually planned on being an entrepreneur at all. What happened was I was homeless at 16. My father abandoned my dog, my father abandoned my mother, and then my mother abandoned me. And then I had to make a choice what I was going to do with my life. And very long story short, I graduated high school at 16. I started college at 16, and I started my first business, not really because I wanted to be a business owner at the time. It was mostly, how to survive, how to feed yourself, how to find a place to live, and actually how to pay for college, which I ended up doing. So rocky beginnings. And I guess the common term now it's bootstrapping, but I mean, severely bootstrapping, it was cold calling. It was, cold walking into places, asking people, how I could help them. And, being a 16-year-old who probably looked like 12 and, it just was challenging. And it never, ever, ever once occurred to me that I wouldn't succeed.
Yeah, well, I talk a lot about the resilient mindset. What would be like a few things you want to share with the audience about being resilient like that at the age of 16 and how you built up that mindset? Because it's that daily conditioning that will help individuals that we're talking to right now that could be going through a tough time. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing that a lot of people don't understand is being resilient is just practicing a muscle. I mean, it's just like going to the gym or eating better or, being more conscientious about communicating. But it's the habits, it's that forming, and every success that you have is another success under your belt. And when you get more and more successes, it's sort of easier to be resilient. But of course, the challenge in the beginning is how do you become resilient at all? And one of the things that I tell people when I'm speaking on stage is one of the common things is that when you start a business or you have a vision and a lot of people just kind of tear you down or don't believe in you or tell you that you're not going to succeed. And I say that that's good. And here's why. Because nobody's going to understand that vision but you. It's your vision. It's your dream. It's your hope, right? So of course people aren't going to see that because it's yours. And also the people who don't really support you the way that you want to, they're doing that to protect you. So when you sort of reframe that negativity into actually they're trying to help me. Now, it doesn't mean you have to listen to them or believe them. You know what your vision is, but just know that it's coming from a good place. It makes it easier to listen to that. But again, the resilience is, hey, if this is your vision and you're really committed to it, you're always going to find a way. And I'm not a neuroscientist, but there's so many studies about how constantly thinking about things and troubleshooting and problem solving, what that vision is, it's so much easier to come to power, come to manifest. And vision boards work like that because you're constantly seeing what you're going to create, and your mind doesn't know the difference between what has already happened versus what hasn't happened yet. So that's all of these things are things, visualization, all of those things is part of the resilience.
Yeah. And, as you know, my story, I came from Cuba at the age of 7.5, 8 years old. And when we landed in Miami, we were sent to Joliet, Illinois. No family, no friends, nothing but the clothes we're wearing. And it was a big snowstorm. And we land there and we're like, oh my God, what is this white stuff? So it was really interesting. And but we were the only Hispanic family in Joliet, Illinois. So it was that whole thing of what the attitude, my mom and dad had a really great attitude about it because they had just escaped communism. So they thought this is amazing. And, I'm a patriot. I love this country. I mean, let's face it, there's no one in Key West right now trying to build a raft and saying, if I could just get to Cuba, right?
That's so true. So true.
So we I know all about that because I saw it. My parents, my mom, my dad was a wealthy man, and he got a job immediately because he knew he had automobile in dealerships. Got a job as a mechanic. My mother didn't work because my father was successful. She got a job as a maid. And I think it's that resilience of doing whatever it takes, right? Do whatever it takes to put food on the table for yourself and your family and to persevere. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to hear because a lot of people they don't realize that, it doesn't matter where you are, opportunities everywhere.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
You can become wealthy anywhere. I mean, I went from zero to wealth, came from nothing, became, a multimillionaire, never having to work since I was 31 years old last year, right? Just kidding. And, but I mean, I haven't had to work in a long time. I do this because I love it. I think it's important that we tell people that they have a chance to persevere. And can you give me just something that made you, we talked about that day of change you had. So you had that day of change, but when you're going through those bumps in the road, what was one thing that really stood out to you to keep persevering?
I don't tell what I'm about to say very often because it's misconstrued. But one of the questions that is similar to that is, why didn't I ever think I would fail? And this is important to know is that I grew up in an area where everybody was successful in one way or another. I mean, my neighbors were on the cover of Forbes magazine. They were multimillionaires. A tiny 2-bedroom, 1-bath shack was $1 million 35 years ago. And so while that seems to imply that I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I didn't when I'm homeless, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what happened before that. But because that was my norm,
right,
that helped me realize, and it wasn't even a realization, it was just like, why wouldn't it be any different? And that doesn't help a lot of people because they were like, well, I didn't have that when I grew up. But this is exactly why we have mentors, we follow people, we do coaching programs, we follow people on YouTube. Like instead of having it in their home or in their neighborhood, they can get this exact same thing online, which I didn't have when 35 years ago.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing where everybody is surrounded by these amazing possibilities in life. And we're so much in a better place now as a young person and as an entrepreneur growing up than I was 35 years ago.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're going to take a break right now. You're listening to Zero to Wealth on eZWay TV.
Get ready for a transformational experience at the Influence to Income Summit, where some of the most prominent thought leaders and trailblazers come together to share powerful insights on turning purpose into profit. Featuring legends like Jeff Hoffman, Senior Executive from Priceline, Dr. Tina D. Lewis, founder of Global Women Speakers, Don Green, CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, Dr. Dante Sears, founder of WealthXO, Omar Periu, 32 best-selling author, host of Zero to Wealth, Deb Drummond, executive producer for the Women's Channel, Greg Reed, executive producer of the Wishman movie on Netflix, Kate Linder, Young and the Restless star, Van Di Chozo, CFO for River Rock Films, Andie Monet, co-founder for Trailblazers TV, Jeffrey Hazlett, chairman of C-Suite Network, Shyla Day, founder of Women of Purpose, David T. Fagan, former CEO of Guerrilla Marketing, Laurel Lang-Meyer, the millionaire maker from The Secret, and many more. This is your chance to learn directly from the best. Hosted by Karen Hall and creator of the eZWay interactive app Doctor, Eric Zuli. Benefiting better vision for children. Powered by the award-winning eZWay network, this televised event is broadcast across multiple platforms and designed to help you master the art of monetizing your influence. Register free now at www.influencetoincomesummit.com.
eZWay Interactive. Start connecting the eZWay. Are you ready to connect like never before? Introducing the eZWay Interactive app, your ultimate social solutions network. Whether you're looking to network, collaborate, or simply share ideas, eZWay makes it easy to engage with like-minded individuals and organizations. Discover innovative solutions, join exciting discussions, and expand your horizon, all in one powerful platform. Don't miss out on the future of social networking. Download eZWay Interactive now and unlock endless possibilities.
Hey, and we're back, and thank you for being here from Zero to Wealth. I'm Omar Periu, and this is on eZWay.tv. And Andie, we were talking about how people can really reach out and learn about mentors. You know, you can find a mentor on a book, on a podcast, on events like what we're doing, this podcast that we're doing, and you can learn a lot. You don't have to be like in the old days. Like when I did it, I went to see, my mentor, Tom Murphy, managed Tom Hopkins, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, Dennis Waitley, worked best friends with Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, sent me to see Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar. And I had to physically, I remember driving to Dallas, Texas to see Zig Ziglar. And I had this old car and I slept in the car and I woke up in the morning and I had the tickets because Mr. Murphy set me up, and I would walk into the hotel. I had my little suit. I'd clean up and walk out. I looked like $1 million, but nobody knew I was in my car all night.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that, everyone has a lot of opportunity now to reach out. And tell me more about how you see businesses. What are the struggles some of the businesses are having right now? What do you see?
Well, first, I just want to revisit the sleeping in the car, because I think there's so many entrepreneurs that have gone through that at one time or another in their life, and me included. And I don't want to pass that over lightly, but you do what you have to do because, again, you have a vision, you have a goal, you have a mission. I think so many of us entrepreneurs really, we show up because we want to help make that difference in the world, that positive difference in the world. And we need a way to do that. And so a lot of us are driven to do that. It's not about, for some of us, it's not about, how big our business is. It's how big we can make a difference in the world.
Right.
But then now, see, I did that and I forgot your question now. See?
No, but funny, Andie, that you should say that, because I've done, as you know, I've opened up health clubs, record companies, publishing companies, real estate, IT, you name it, energy drinks. And I find that the companies that succeed the most are the ones that have a purpose, a why.
For sure.
Something that's driving them. I find that most successful men and women aren't doing it for the money. They're doing it because they either have a purpose or they suffered someone saying, hey, you'll never become anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Or
absolutely.
So tell me, what are the things have you been encountering lately while you're out there talking to businesses or individuals about overcoming challenges?
I think always one of the challenges is how to get more business for a lot of the younger, under $10 million companies. And that can get into so many topics. I just had a conversation with a a company last week, and they said, well, we're having great engagement and our social media is great and we have a lot of followers and everybody likes us. And I'm like, so you have a conversion problem then?
Right.
So, right. I mean, it seems easy when you've been doing this for 35 years, but there's so many different things. And some of them can be super tiny and some of them can be really big for, whether it's branding or messaging, maybe it's packaging or pricing, maybe it's who's your target market. Like there's so many things, but at the end of the day, you have to have that marketing piece right. And I don't teach marketing, but I talk about marketing. I mean, I do a lot of mine primarily is operations, financial management and sales conversions. But I mean, leadership affects your business growth. And then again, like I said, messaging, marketing, I do pricing and packaging too. But really that lead gen model is the very first thing. I mean, lead gen leading to revenue is a number one critical thing you've got to get right. Otherwise nothing else matters, right?
So true. I mentor about 10 people a year, and they're mostly CEOs or businesses or someone starting a business that just left their job, right? And they want to do something different. And I took a company, one of the companies, I have 7 right now I'm working with, and I took that company from a startup to being a billion-dollar company. But I have another company that I took from 9 million a year to right now we'll do 40 million this year. And it's exactly what you're saying. All we did is we honed in on their website, which was good, but it was nothing but a nice brochure, right?
A nice digital business card, as we call them sometimes.
Yeah. And then we focused on their product, focused on their market and where they want to, build. And now the toughest thing is we had cut back this week 40% on marketing costs because they're getting too many leads. Right?
Big problems to have.
So I put everything together for them. I took and built a CRM, and then from that CRM, that people they go into a phone call, and it's either AI driven or by a person, preferably a person if they're not too busy. And then the whole thing is I take them through processes that they have to start out with the lead, listen, get the proposal, get it out, and close.
That sales operations is critical.
Right. So, I mean, you can get as many leads as you can, but if you're not answering the phone and doing the work and closing the sale. So let's talk about, as you know, I had and have the #1 sales book in the world called Investigative Selling. And I worked with the great Tom Hopkins for over 10 years, and he's one of my dear friends and mentors. Tell me about what you see in closing the sale, because closing the sale is so important to any individual or business.
Critical.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I love this topic because there's so few people that actually understand it's not just a close. There's so many pieces of it. And one really easy example that is so tiny that people don't even believe me, it's make it simple, right? I mean, if you're gonna do cold outreach, you're only selling for the appointment. You're not selling the program. Or if you get on a sales call, if you confuse them, they're gonna not buy. I mean, it's just that simple. And so you just need one baby step at a time. And even if they say yes, it's like you don't want to send them, and it's like I've heard this from probably Zig Ziglar, actually, because he's one of my favorites. But you're not asking them to marry you, right? You're just dating, or you're having a coffee date or something. Right. So you don't want to give them your entire next year of stuff in your onboarding email, for example. You just want 1 to 3 steps. This is what to expect. This is what it looks like. Because you're building a relationship around somebody that just gave you money, and it's very, very fragile. And so little things like communication, simplicity is super critical, and the other thing about if your marketing is done well, the sales call is really not a sales call, right? Yeah. I mean, they've already decided they're buying. They're just calling you for details. But that's where the marketing piece comes in, is if your marketing is not good, then you are that pressure sales, like trying to convince somebody, and who wants to do that, right?
Yeah, it's important because I write scripts. In fact, I wrote Donald Trump's negotiations courses. And I write scripts and I work with a lot of big companies writing their manuals. I wrote the manual for Lexus automobile and some of these big companies. So I understand. I always tell people that you don't realize that when you're closing a sale, I don't think it should be called closing. It should be called opening. Because if you don't close them, and I know that Eric Zuley, my dear friend, who's the founder of eZWay TV, he's a great salesman and a great closer, and so am I. And we have fun when we're together because we're so good at it. But I think if the people should think about closing the sale as opening the relationship.
I was just about to say that.
Close
Yes.
a sale, you're done with the relationship. So you got to close a sale to open the relationship. Because look, I feel like I get on stages, as you know, I've been on the biggest seminars in the world, Get
Yes.
Motivated, Success Resources. Our average audience was 20,000 people. I'd get up there and sell, $1 million, $1.5 million worth of packages. And I always got up there, and there was 10, 12 speakers selling also. And I'd say to myself, if I don't close them, they're going to buy some other speaker's stuff, which is not as good as mine. So it's my obligation to close them and get them to the back of that
It
table.
absolutely is. And I think that's another really critical part, is that if you really believe in what you're doing or in what you're selling,
Right.
you're giving a solution to somebody's life. You're you're literally changing somebody's life.
Yep.
Whether it's their business or their revenue or their labor or whatever challenges that they have or problems that they have, or whatever is keeping them from success, we have solutions. And if you honestly and truly believe that, it's not really a sale,
Yeah, I always tell people, do you believe in yourself? Yes. Do you believe in what you sell? Yes. Do you believe everybody is successful and they own your product? Yes. If you believe it, then you better drive them to yes. And if you don't,
Absolutely.
it's your fault, because if you don't, the next person will.
It's absolutely your fault. And it's your fault that they lose money, because if you have a better solution.
Right. You didn't close them. Yeah. Well, let's go into our next commercial. You're listening from Zero to Wealth on eZWay TV.
Welcome to eZWay Podcast. Do you have a podcast? Maybe you want to create one. Let eZWayPodcast.com make it a little easier on you and your guests. For only $99 a month, you can super boost your podcast, get more subscribers, advertisers, and manage everything all in one place with eZWay Network.
Get seen and heard the easy way, get a larger reach, meet quality potential guests. You could be on Roku, Apple, Amazon, all mobile devices and smart TVs streaming on eZWay TV. Our network helps you get advertisers and people wanting to pay you for an interview, as well as brand credibility and more social media followers. Try it free. Register to eZWayPodcast.com.
Dreams, they can seem far away. While following your dreams, you can also be chased by your own insecurities. Eventually, you'll have to face those problems head on. And how do we do this? By doing things the easy way. With the eZWay, we bring people together. We turn the negatives into positives by transferring all of that negativity into fuel. We go beyond marketing and development. So flip the script. Use these challenges to your advantage. Find out how you can create your own influence effect the eZWay.
Hey, and we're back. Zero to Wealth podcast on eZWay TV. And my guest today is Andie Monet. And I wanted to talk to you about our next thought that I had about business and freedom. A lot of people come to me and they go, why do you do what you do and all this stuff? But let's talk to people about financial freedom, financial independence. What does that mean to you?
I'm very selfish with my time. And I believe and proven with myself and with my clients that I have is, what do you want? How do you want your life to be? It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what everybody else wants. What do you want? Right. And as an example for me, when I was in grad school, people want to hire grad students at minimum wage, and you're only getting 2 or 3 hours, and so because you're not full time, they, for whatever reason, they think that you're not as valuable. And I said, well, that's not an option. I mean, I'm brilliant, and so that's really just not going to happen. And so that in combination with my daughter was a newborn, and I had to make the decision, how do I do grad school and be a brand new mom for the first time? And I made the decision to bring my daughter everywhere. And before that happened, nobody wanted that. They were like, you're going to go out of business. You know, you're not going to do well. People are going to frown upon you. You're going to have a bad reputation, all the things, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, nobody's going to live my life but me. Nobody's going to be the mother but me. Nobody's going to run my business but me. And so I brought her to all my meetings. Even I did tell them ahead of time. I said, hey, this is the situation. I want my daughter to be with me. If you're not comfortable with that, doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And one person in the 6 years I was in grad school cared. Nobody else cared. Now, granted, my daughter was well behaved. That makes a difference. And I wouldn't bring her if I thought if she was going to be trouble. But I brought my daughter with me to client meetings, to sales calls, to everything basically when I wasn't in school, because that was my choice. And so to answer your question, the freedom is really, to me, putting my priorities first. And my priorities were my children and my family. You know, we moved from California to Texas to be with my son's grandmother because she only is alive once, right? And so, yes, it's a sacrifice to live in a place that's not my favorite, but at the same time, it's for a bigger purpose. And so the freedom is not looking at your checkbook to make a financial decision, making my priorities and building that business around what are priorities for me.
Very good. I love it. I was lucky enough to have that mentor, Tom Murphy, who managed speakers, and his best friend was Jim Rohn. So we would hang out a lot. I was a young man. I was 19.
Oh, my word.
He was already a huge name, Jim Rohn was. And he would always give me his audios. As soon as he'd finish them, he'd hand them to me, like how to have your best year ever, take charge of your life. And he would always talk to me about money because I was just getting started. And I'd always, like at first I was successful in life before I made it to the Olympic trials for the 100-yard dash, 100 meters. I held the AU record for bench press, 400 pounds. I was a full record. I had a full scholarship for music. My mother has a beautiful voice. I inherited her voice. But then I hit a wall and everything went down. My dad lost everything and I had to start all over again. And I met this man and I'd always say, my parents are poor. I sound like Ricky Ricardo, whatever, and he'd say, stop it. He said, don't wish for your life to be easier, wish for you to become better.
Absolutely.
So he would always give me like gems like that. But he also said to me, he says, Omar, financial freedom, financial independence is when you can stop and the money that you have is paying for everything you want. So I added to it, and this is what I want everybody to take from the audience here. When money makes money, you're financially independent. Meaning I don't have to do what I do at all. I do it because I love it. It's
Absolutely.
my why. But when people don't understand that financial independence is when you have multiple streams of income that are carrying your lifestyle without you even thinking about it.
Absolutely.
So I want everyone to think about that because financial freedom is when money makes money. That's financial freedom, financial independence.
Yeah, and even that was one of the first lessons I taught my son, even when he was 2 and he didn't even understand it. I'm like, your job, everybody has a job. Your money has a job too. What's your money's job, Luke? Which is my son's name. He's like, my money is to make more money. And it's not because of the money by itself. It's because how do you create the lifestyle that you want to create? And so many of the parents say, what do you want to do when you grow up? Which is great, but it's also automatically adds a limitation to children's lives.
And money is nothing but a vehicle. And
exactly.
When I was
it's a tool.
It's a tool. Like when I went into the health club business because I loved the health club business. However, I wanted to be a recording artist. So I made the money so I could buy a record company, and I bought my own record company and publishing company. So that was the reason that I wanted to make money because I studied music. I I wrote records. In fact, you can go on Apple right now or iTunes or Spotify and listen to my music in Spanish, Italian, and I did a Christmas CD. But I did all that because I wanted to make money in the health club business to do other things. It's nothing but a vehicle. And that's a good point I want to bring up, and maybe we can go deeper on it. Sometimes you have to do something that's not your why to get to your why. So
Absolutely.
I love the health club business, and I made a lot of money and became wealthy doing it. However, the reason I went into it was by default because I really wanted to sing, but I couldn't get the record contracts I wanted. So I said, I'm going to make enough money to become a recording artist and buy a company. So let's talk more about that.
Yeah, I love that.
Working on something like, there's a lot of people out there that are living lives of really, they're desperate because they really don't like what they're doing. But if you don't like what you're doing, first of all, find something else. Number two, find something you love. Make sure it supports you and your family or yourself. But I think that sometimes you have to take a bypass, a detour to get what you want. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, the one thing, there's so many thoughts I had about that, but one of them is sometimes a detour is not even on purpose. It's just you don't know, and you end up in a place, and that's fine. But for me, I always tell people, you can make excuses. You can use things as crutches. You can, there's always a reason why you can't do something. I mean, I think that we do that naturally some days, but to realize that if you are making an excuse, recognize that you're making an excuse and then make the choice to not make the excuse. And I know it's really subtle, but whether it's,
Give me an example of that, because that was, that's important.
Yeah. I mean, here's the example of me. So, and I don't tell this to anybody because it's a little embarrassing, but I mean, it's really not embarrassing, but I just don't like it, is my original degree is in quantum physics and engineering. So I'm very analytical. I mean, I can't add 1 + 1 most of the time, but I can do calculus in my sleep. And so it was just something that I just happened to be good at. And so I ended up not going into engineering, but I went into accounting, and then accounting into finance. And I was great at it. That's where where I started was accounting and finance and P&Ls and forecasts and all the number stuff that nobody really likes. And I did really well at it. I mean, I don't remember. I was working for the biggest management consulting firm by 25. We worked in Hollywood by 2020 and 25. And then federal government was my client by 30. But I say that because of this. I realized later in my life, because I'm 50 something now, mid 55, I think. And just because you're good at it doesn't mean, I realized I was good at it, but I didn't like it.
Right.
I mean, I was great at it. In fact, I mean, I could write a business plan, a 50-page business plan in my sleep, but I didn't enjoy it. And I realized early on that was supporting my ego, not my freedom, which is a very subtle distinction. And then that became, okay, well, I'm not unhappy and I make great money, but what is it that I really want to do? And not that everybody has to have one thing that they want to do. Maybe they grow as a person, or maybe, something else comes along, but just because we're great at something doesn't mean we have to continue doing it, or maybe that transitions into something else. And so one, fun, I think, example is I have a TV channel now, and
right.
And it's like, well, how do you go from accounting to TV, which I didn't, but the big jump, that's the big jump.
Let's talk about Trailblazers TV. Let's talk about Trailblazers TV.
No, I love this so much. And there's a lot of reasons, but everything I do is, how do I love people? And that word's not used a lot in business. And I'm not saying everybody has to use it. I'm just saying I use it. I love people. How do I love on them more? And from a business standpoint, how do you get clients or people to have higher revenue, more growth, more visibility. I mean, there's different things that create more revenue. And one of those revenues is visibility, because if you're the best kept secret, you're not going to ever make any money. And that means no matter how you look at that. And so there's lots of different ways. And yes, we talked about marketing and branding and messaging and all that fun stuff, but there's also media. And so you can be interviewed on a TV show, you can be interviewed on a podcast. But what I went through this, and anybody who knows me knows, like, go big or go home. And I kind of don't like that term, but it's true. It's like, I don't like playing small. It does me no good. It does the people I serve no good. I started out with a show, then it became 6 shows, and it became a channel. Now it's a network. So
tell me more. Trailblazers TV, and of course it's with my dear friend Eric Zuleif, eZWay TV. Let's talk more about it. How can people get involved in it and be part of it and get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of shows, and we always love interviewing people on those shows. But what's more fun to me are people that we build shows for. And so that could be an expert, an author, a speaker. But the other thing is even podcasters. They're like, okay, well, what's the difference between a video podcast and a TV show? And one of the short answer is you get on an even much broader range, audience range, like 26 plus million people. Whereas if you just have YouTube, or you just have Spotify, or, all of those things, I don't know if Spotify has podcasts. I assume that they do. But anyway, you reach an entirely new market of people who either don't do podcasts or don't listen to podcasts, or expanding your reach for the few people that don't do a lot of podcasts, but they do primarily TV, whether it's Roku or I can't, for the life of me, can't think of anything right now, binge TV, but I wish I could remember. We have Radiate, I think we're on. I mean, we're on a ton.
A book is important too. I did the forward for the Best of the Best book with all these great authors you're looking at right now. And by the way, all the money went to Eric's dad's great cause, BVC charity, Better Vision for Children. So I was so happy that we were able to put that great book together with all these great stories and do the forward and really get it out there and make it Amazon bestseller and New York Times bestseller. So anyone remember, all the proceeds go to Eric Zuleif's dad's cause, which is a great cause, Better Vision, bvccharity.org. Yeah. And it's a great cause. And I love that book really just is giving back, right? It's important.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead.
Real quick on Better Vision for Children. I support that charity as well. And it's near and dear to my heart because being homeless at 16, anything related to children touches me. How do we give them leadership? How do we give them tools? How do we give them resources? How do we give them, motivation? But Better Vision for Children, I think the statistic is 1 out of every 4 children have some kind of eyesight challenge. And what a lot of people don't know is that eyesight is directly related to their success in school and, of course, confidence. But it's not just vision, it's how vision affects the entire rest of their life. But they also do mentorships and take them, expand their vision, not only, their eyesight vision, but their mental vision, and they get to meet, pro athletes and go do finishing school stuff and sports events. And so it's just really a sweet charity.
Well, it really builds their confidence, and confidence is the most important thing you can give a child. Anybody,
absolutely.
Because when you have self-esteem and self-image, that equals confidence. And the only time I've ever seen people stop working towards their purpose or why, their goals, is when their self-esteem and self-image loses that confidence. So it's important that we do that. So let's go into a little eZWay TV commercial here from Zero to Wealth. Here we go.
If you want to amplify your reach, visibility, and generate more sales leads, joint venture partners, and increase your bottom line by one simple login, then eZWay Network is your solution to greatness. Sign up to eZWayNetwork.com, use invite code eZWay, or use the invite code of the person that referred you. Our all-in-one marketing solutions hub can help boost your event, podcast, and increase your relationship equity by the click of a button. What are you waiting for? eZWayNetwork.com.
The Better Vision for Children's Foundation was founded over 35 years ago by Tom Cataldo, a World War II Navy veteran and who eventually lost most of his eyesight due to amblyopia. Amblyopia, also known as lazy eye, is an early childhood condition in which the eye and brain don't work together as they should. Kids often get used to this vision problem and might not mention it to parents. As a result, their amblyopia might not get diagnosed for months or even years, while parents chalk up poor grades or clumsiness to a child not being academically or athletically gifted.
Are you ready to scale your business and grow your income? Life is a journey. You've got to discover your true path and target your results. Don't just dream about it. You've got to do it. At WealthXO, we're here to help you create your dream life. Turn your dreams into a reality. It all starts with a great plan and a great coach. I'm Dr. Dante Sears, and I'm here to help you turn your dreams into reality. Are you ready? Let's go. WealthXO.
Hey, and welcome back to From Zero to Wealth on eZWay TV. And I think there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't think are important in business. So I want to talk to you about like time management, territorial management, time boxing. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, I just wrote an article about this the other day. I'll tell you what I think one of the biggest myths is let me back up a second. Let me tell you what I think my solution is first. One of them is keeping track of your time, which really effectively is a timesheet. And any entrepreneur, CEO, business owner, like that's a waste of time. And in fact, it's going to take away from the amount of work that they want to accomplish. And scientifically, it's proven that it actually improves and increases your productivity, in part because you're more aware of what you're doing. And so this is one of the things that I think is really important. But another there's so many things about this topic. But another thing is that so many people don't know how to have a business meeting. And one of the complaints, whether you're a small business or enterprise, is that you're spending, especially in enterprise, you're spending 7-8 hours a day in meetings, or meetings that take 2 or 3 hours. And there actually is a way to have a meeting that's 15 minutes to 30 minutes and you actually accomplish things. But all those things are so critical because you don't know what you don't know. And that's why you find out, right? I mean, it sounds easy, of course, but
yeah,
finding the people who are going to help you with that is so critical. Because again, my background, because of my quantitative, background, is all about things you can measure. You can measure sales, you can measure productivity, you can measure, operations. And so that's why I have a software company. That's why I have a consulting company. That's why I have a mentorship program. The things that most people don't think of to make money has nothing. Most people think of revenue increase and marketing. And both of those are obviously super important. But the other side of that, most people don't even think about, which is time management, it's operations, it's platforms, it's AI, it's systems, workflows, it's the sales operations. Like if you don't even know what to say to people when you talk to them, and what's going to happen next, and then who takes over after that, like all those little pieces add up to losing money, literally losing money.
I was hired by a Fortune 100 company to write and train them on meetings. Did you know that there's 11 million meetings a day and most of them are not productive? So I ended up writing a book called The 1 Minute Meeting on meetings. And it was one of my best-selling books.
I bet. I know it actually.
Yeah. So I wrote that book, and I do a boot camp to corporations, a 2-day boot camp. And it's crazy, but I'm hired so much on that because they want me to come in and talk to their executives and teach them how to run a meeting and how to get up and talk to people. Because most people, like I was hired by this company. The CEO calls me, goes, Omar, our regional meetings are painful to watch. These people are so good at sales, and they get up to speak and they fall apart.
Yes.
I wrote a whole program on types of meetings, which meetings are important, how to run a meeting, all that stuff, agendas, and then how to deliver the meeting. And it's important. So I think that people have to realize that if you're going to have a meeting, make sure that you put some time into it, because people are bored of your meetings. They know that every Monday you're going to do the same meeting, or Tuesday, and you're going to give credit to the same people because they're always the top producers. And then you're going to have some guest speaker come up and talk about something that you guys do. It could be like, running your computer. And then they're going to say, let's go get them, everybody, right? And they know that you're going to do it. So make your meetings exciting and make them fun. So on that, if I were to ask you, what's one thing besides marketing that people need to get ready for in the next 12 months to make their business not just survive, but thrive? What would it be?
Well, the common thing is AI, which I'm totally on board for, and media. So many businesses don't consider media part of their marketing plan. And I know I'm not supposed to talk about marketing, but media is pretty critical, which is why we have the Trailblazer channel. I mean, there's so many people that are trailblazers. And when I say that, it's not small. It's like the first person who's done, had the first live stream TV platform online.
Right.
We've got people who just, how have they changed the face of doing business, right?
Yeah.
And,
well, it's funny you should say it, because I was hired by a bank, I can't mention the name, and they had me create a 3-hour speech, a training to teach their people to communicate with customers.
oh yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
I mean, like they said that, don't quote me, I think it's 70 or 80% of emails are not opened. So they had me do a training on teaching their people on how to get out there and talk to their customers, because everybody's texting, emailing, and doing Zooms, which is great if you're far away. It's a great way. It's an effective way to get to people, but it's still important to have that human touch, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and you can do that with a Zoom. You can do that by, more importantly, go visit them, have coffee, take them to lunch, that kind of thing. But it's very important to keep that human element. And I use AI, and I'm big on it. And my son is really good at it, and all the stuff. But I think you still got to keep that human element, keep that going, so you don't lose that, right? So
and one quick thing about that is I do a moderate amount of networking because I don't know who I don't know. And people are always surprised to do networking calls with me because they want to talk about business or affiliates or how do we cross promote, like all the normal stuff, right?
Right.
But I actually, my first meeting, it has nothing to do with business. And I'm like, I know that's why you want to talk with me, but I want to know who you are as a person. Are you married? Do you have kids? Where'd you go to school? Are your parents alive? Like, that's all it is. And everybody is always surprised and a little like they have their script and then they get like deer in the headlights, some of them, because they're like, oh, well, I was going to talk about how I can help you. And I'm like, I don't want to know how you can help me. I want to know who you are first.
Yeah, that's funny. I do a lot of training in Mexico. I speak Spanish, as you know, because I'm Cuban. And so whenever I train a company in Mexico, like one of my companies that I train is AT&T, and in Latin America. So whenever they change leadership, I have to fly to Mexico City. Not that I have to, I love it. And we go out and we have lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner. And on the fourth day, we talk about, the training, and your lunch. I'm like, I can't drink tequila every day at lunch and talk about business, It's like, I'm just but I have a great time, and I love all my Mexican friends and Latin friends.
I bet.
But they don't do business until they get to know you and they're comfortable with the relationship. And I think it's important that people realize that Think and Grow Rich was a book that changed my life. And Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, always talked about the mastermind. And I've heard Bob Proctor, because Bob Proctor was my mentor's other best friend, and I got to hang out with him. We'd stay at bedrooms next to each other. We'd talk all night, and he loves cigars. So I'm Cuban, so we'd smoke cigars and drink scotch. So did Jim Rohn. He loved cigars and a good bottle of scotch. He really had a good taste for scotch. So we would sit there and talk, and he'd talk to me about, that when one person's alone, that's one thing. When two people and minds are together, but when you get three or more, oh boy, great things happen.
Oh, absolutely.
We always talked about the mastermind. The mastermind is getting with other like-minded people. And I always like to bring someone that's strong at something that I'm not.
Absolutely.
Right? So I always tell people I'm not, but Murph always said, you want to be the dumbest guy in the room.
Absolutely.
So always those masterminds are so important to get with people that bring in strengths. Like, I don't do pools. I have Felipe does that. I don't do gardening. I have Juan that does my gardening. I don't do my trees. I don't paint my house. I have Gustavo for that. So, I bring in people that tell me, hey, here's what it's going to cost. Here's what it's going to be. Of course, I know a little bit about it because I built hundreds and thousands of homes and apartment buildings. So I know a lot about it. However, I'm going to do what I do best. And if you focus on what you do best, you'll do it better. Like Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor, my mentor, used to say to me, Omar, I don't do anything great but what I do. But what I do, I'm the best. And I'm really good at it. And I study every day, but I'm the best at what I do. But I don't want to do PowerPoint. I don't want to do put together my audio visual. I don't want to do, but he learned PowerPoint after a while. But he always, all the mentors I've ever had said,
it's true.
What I do, I'm the best, and I hire the rest, or I surround myself with people that can do what I don't want to do. Mr. Murphy used to say, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today, but he said, and don't put off for tomorrow what you can do, have others do for you.
No, it's true. It's true. Right. And that goes back. There's a lot of things that we could unpack there, but one of them is cost benefit. Let's just say if I bill at $5,000 an hour, I'm not going to be sending an email checking up on when I'm going to have a meeting. Like I would give that to my assistant. Like it's all, I do, but I don't mean to say it comes down to that money thing again. It's like, where am I best served?
Right.
And why would I stress and worry and have less hours in the day if I don't have to? Right?
Well, it's very important to have good help. And I still say, when it comes to the important things, like my assistant is amazing. No matter, she's been with me for 8.5 years. No matter what, though, when it comes to proposals and agreements, I check, double check, because I want to make sure that I'm represented. So for important things, yes, but I would,
for sure,
it's really important. Yeah. But find someone and be willing to pay them what they're worth, so they don't walk away from you as soon as they get all the skills.
And that's another thing is again, from a leadership standpoint as well, the more you take care of your employees and even contractors, and they know that you're trying to take care of them,
right,
they're amazing. Like they'll bend over backwards to support whatever vision you have, because they know that you're there to take care of them as well.
And everybody wants to feel valued, and everybody wants to feel and be a part of something bigger than they are. On that note, let's take a break. You're listening from Zero to Wealth on eZWay TV.
Welcome everyone to our eZWay Mega Pitch Party. Fasten your Zoom belt because this is about to be the ride of your life.
Are you a speaker, author, coach, entrepreneur looking to get out there more and find new leads for your business? Meet Amy. Amy is a coach and speaker looking to get on more stages and podcast interviews so more people know about her products and services, so people are aware of what she can do for them. Amy heard about this eZWay pitch party on Zoom and decides to check it out. She registers at eZWayPitchParty.com for free. Amy is now given an account with eZWay Network and can log into her back-end portal. Amy discovers that there is a wide range of promotional and branding services offered through eZWay Network. Events, TV, magazine, podcasting, website and app creation, business tools and automation for her business. Even a directory of over 2,500 high-quality eZWay family members that she can do business with, joint venture, or even find affiliates for her own business. Plus all this is rolled into a social network that makes it easy for Amy to connect and follow up with everyone she meets. Amy can also post what she has going on and what she wants other members to know about.
Wow, this is awesome. Now I have a stage I can promote my events, podcasts, and projects from.
Amy then realizes that her pitch she gives on the eZWay pitch party can also be aired and distributed on eZWay.tv, which gets her talk out to much more people. Amy just got a free commercial. eZWay even offers production and training services to turn Amy's pitch into a commercial that sells for her even while she is sleeping. So now Amy is put into a directory on a network that is tapped into multiple networks of multiple people that have their own stages, podcasts, and business referral networks themselves. So in short, now Amy has a done-for-you team to promote and brand her just because she decided to check out the eZWay pitch party stage she was told about. Amy can also refer her friends to the same thing and make 10% of anything her friends purchase from eZWay Network. Amy gets all this starting at $49.99 a month or $600 annually. Every time Amy gets on the pitch party stage, she is not only getting her message out there more, she is made to look like a star, which will help her attract more business to her business, because eZWay is helping to boost her online presence, notoriety, credibility, and authority. All in one, in short, it pays to do it the easy way.
Hey, welcome back to From Zero to Wealth. I'm Omar Periu. We are on eZWay TV, and my special guest is Andie Monet. Andie, I want to ask you, what are 3 things that you want to leave the audience with today? 3 things that
You're testing me.
What?
I'm just joking. I said, you're testing me now.
Oh, okay. All right, well, give me a few things.
No, it's okay. I was just teasing you. I mean, one of the really critical things is that no one can stop you but you. And it's so easy to say, oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have the right network. I don't know the right people. But really, at the end of the day, you can accomplish anything. And you don't need anything or anyone except yourself. And, one really simple example is that, the eZWay interactive app is, I was like, oh, another app. But now that I'm in it, it's crazy amazing. The people that I've met, the people that I've talked to, the business opportunities that have come up, the reach. I used to get maybe 100 to 200, audience visibility on my social media. Now it's 5 to 10,000 for every single post. Like, nice. There's so much in that app. And one of the things that I really love about it is that they call it the eZWay family, and it really is like a family. It's amazing.
Yes. Eric's created a great community, and I'm really proud of him. We met at the Think and Grow Rich. I was the MC and keynote for the Think and Grow Rich event. We did 12 cities, and I was the keynote. I would kick it off every day for an hour and a half, and that's where I met Eric, and we became friends. And really proud of what he's built on eZWay Network, eZWay TV, eZWay, and everything that he's doing right now. So I think everybody should get involved in the eZWay family, whatever it is, and invest and take your business to the top. So I think it's very important. So there it is at eZWay Family. Let's talk about our final note. What would you like to leave everyone? I shouldn't say our final because we'll do it again. Our ending note that our message that we want to leave people with.
I know I kind of keep saying this, but I think it's really important for people to know is you can only take your success so far on your own. And if you stick with that, you'll go far, but you'll go so much further if you have somebody, a team of people, whether those are employees or whether they're contractors or whether it's a mentor or whether it's books and even personal development. The piece of getting other people on board with you, whether they're friends or consultants or employees, is really important. And you're never too young to be in media. That's the thing, right? Because visibility is critical. It's social media, yes, but do you know how many people are on social media? Really, media is that next social media piece where you just have to be out there. I mean, and there's this imposter syndrome going around. And look, if you have, again, it goes back to that thing. If you're trying to save the world and you have something that you want to bring that's going to make a difference in people's world, then bring it up in media, whether it's you're being interviewed in a newspaper, whether you're being interviewed on a TV show, whether you're in, Good Morning America called me, and I don't even do lifestyle, but They called me and they asked me if I would do a segment with them. Like, there's a whole way to get in front of people.
Yeah. And you could do like the podcast, like we're doing right now with eZWay TV.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really important. Well, I want to thank you, Andie, for being on the show. This is Omar Periu from Zero to Wealth. I'll leave you with this. Success is in the moment. Make every moment count. I wish you greatness, and I wish you great success.
You're watching eZWay TV, powered by eZWayNetwork.com.